What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TNC Reacts. Today is Wednesday Wonder, and I am wondering why association matters. Now, what I mean by association, I mean that's the type of people that you involve yourself with. You know, as they say, bad association spoils useful habits. If you hang around this crowd, you'll be represented as such. Why does that matter? Well, it's pretty simple, actually, because most of the time, whether we like to admit it or not, the people that we associate ourselves actually represents what we think in a societal form. You know, as much as we really don't like to admit it, if you hang around a bunch of people who dislike a certain race, more than likely they're going to look at you like you have the same ideology, because there might be rhetoric that they spew on a daily basis. If you're hanging around that, then that means that you agree with said ideologies. Because you can't look at it and be like, if we have differing opinions, I can't look at this person and be like, he's cool, I just don't agree with this thing. Certain things just dictate a person's personality, and it's very hard to be around those people unless you have some type of camaraderie with said thing, unless it's for other outside sources. But it is important to watch who you hang out with, and that goes across the board. If you ever notice, people that are in shape typically hang out with people who like or care about their fitness. They may not be super shredded, they may not have six-pack abs, but they definitely attend the gym more than 1 to 2 times a week. They're definitely a 4 to 5 times a week type of individual, and they're pretty dedicated to what they do, or just their eating habits. If you got people that like to work on cars, typically they're hanging around other car people or people who like to dabble in that said world. People who like combat sports, you're going to see people who like to hang out and watch sports together, or at least try to train in said thing. Science, math, people with money, especially people with money. If you notice, people with money always hang out with people with money. They do not hang out with people who are broke, because those are two different levels of thought processes. You got one person that's trying to survive and a person that's thriving. Those people do not typically mesh because of the mentalities behind one another. Because I've seen it personally where people who really make money and they got friends that are trying to find a way up and get like them, they don't give them handouts, but they do supply them with the idea. Oh man, you need to get into this field. Hey man, your job is doing this. Hey man, so on and so forth. They'll give them the information or the knowledge, but if those people don't pick up on it and start to make advancements in their own life to get to where these people with money have, they'll start to distance themselves, because whether they like to admit it or not, people who are broke start to resent people who have money if they're in the same social group, because it becomes the haves and the have-nots, and this is why association matters. If you're wanting to change your life, the last thing you want to do is hang around people who are still doing the same thing. I can tell you this for a surety. I know people who will leave from wherever they lived, growing up and all of that, or even in their adulthood. They will tell you every time they come back, the people are doing the exact same thing that they were before. No advancement, no improvements. But if you look at those people that typically move away, they've made a lot of changes because they've had to. They've had to grow. They've had to advance in life. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to flourish in whatever area they went to. Or they'll go to those areas and find the worst of the worst and be in the same position as they were up north, but they'll never get to go back up north or wherever they're from to see what said areas look like, because they've now created a new stump that they're now just living in. You can tell from thought processes. I mean, there's just so many different variables that apply to your associations. And this is for mostly younger people, because once you're older, you kind of get a good feel of who you want to be around, who you are as a person, and your tribe, as some people will make it. But when you're young and you're trying to figure out what path to take, you have to be very mindful of the company you keep. Because if you have a person over here who only is looking for yes men and you're not a yes man, that's not the group for you. That association doesn't make sense, because you're going to collide with said individual all the time. If you're a person that likes technology, you're going to want to get in with people that like technology, because the goal is to get to a path where you can utilize said skills. Being around people that don't have the same mindset can stump you as far as your growth. And a lot of people don't like to believe that, but that is the reality of the game. And it can become unnerving if you stifle yourself and be around people that aren't helping you advance in your own skills. The beauty of the people I hang around with, we all have a push you mindset. Hey man, what's going on? You hear it and you be like, yo, then do it. Not man, you'll figure it out later on. It's like, hey man, you got this. Everybody's pumping each other up to pursue whatever they believe that they can do. That's a good group to be around. I probably would never actually hang around anybody that show any hater aspects to them. You couldn't catch me hanging out with them to save my life, because it just seems too draining to hang around somebody that has a negative vibe about them all the time. Every time you hear from them, it's always something bad happening. Those are associations you want to avoid as well. If you want to get into the trucking industry, you got to talk to people that's in the trucking industry. Get them to help you out, give you some pointers on how to make maneuvers. God, there's just so many groups that exist nowadays, and you can find them online. You can find them on any type of social media. You can watch them on YouTube, and you can just start watching people's comments, seeing what they're saying, see if they have a group that they really rock with. This is why it's important to understand the associations, because if you're hanging around a bunch of criminals, you're going to be viewed as a criminal. They're going to think that you're running groups with them, and that's how you get caught in RICOs. I'm just saying, this is just an honest thing. You have to be aware of who you hang with, because it's just pertinent to your life to watch your surroundings, watch the people around you, and be in a place where you can enjoy your life without actually stressing about the negativity that comes with certain groups that you involve yourself in. Some people think that's a normality in their life when it really isn't. It is just something that they should eventually grow out of if they happen to start seeing other things that are better. We're all plants on this planet, in my opinion, and we're always meant to grow and flourish. And if we're in environments that are continually keeping us from growing, that should tell you that it's dangerous to you. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments section, and be on the lookout for more videos. All right, everybody? Peace.